All right, everybody, we're gonna get this meeting started. We're gonna start with our oaths of office. So, we're just gonna go over there.
Yep, so, we will start with the returning council member, Amanda. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Amanda Novak, do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office
of
council member
council member
in the city of Elko, New Market,
in the city of Elko, New Market,
Minnesota,
Minnesota,
according to the law
according to the law
and the best of my ability
and the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
You are sworn in.
Thank you.
And Megan? All right, she's showing you how to do it now. If you could please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
Megan Theopold,
Megan Theopold,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office of council member
the duties of the office of council member
in the city of Elko, New Market, Minnesota,
in the city of Elko, New Market, Minnesota,
according to the law
according to the law
and the best of my ability
and the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
Welcome, council member.
Thank you.
And we save the mayor for last.
All right.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
Andrew Ganfield,
Andrew Ganfield,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully
and I will faithfully
execute and discharge
execute and discharge
the duties of the office of mayor
the duties of the office of the mayor
in the city of Elko, New Market,
in the city of Elko, New Market,
Minnesota,
Minnesota,
according to the law
according to the law
and the best of my ability
and the best of my ability
and understanding.
and understanding.
Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, sir. All right, call the meeting to order. Everybody stand so much, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Council will note that there was a revised agenda provided before the meeting. There are no changes by staff beyond that.
Council, do you have any changes?
Motion to approve agenda?
Second.
Motion by Kate, seconded by, I heard a couple.
Give it to Amanda.
I'll take
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, is your microphone on?
Nope. It's on now. There's no presentation, proclamations or acknowledgements. So we'll move to public comment. Is there anybody that would like to speak publicly about anything not on the agenda? No, seeing none.
Tom, did you have a report tonight?
I don't know. Everything's good.
Move to item 7.
So we have the annual organizational matters. We found over the years it's just easier if I walk the council through these items. The first section is appointments and assignments. The first item is identifying an acting mayor for 2025. So if the council could please identify who that is.
Any volunteers?
I'm volunteering Josh.
However, Kate raised her hand.
Makes no difference.
I don't care.
I don't care either. What do you want to do?
Go for it.
Go for it.
I make a motion to appoint Kate as acting mayor.
Second.
Okay, so the actual
No, we
Oh,
don't get to do
sorry.
that.
motion to adopt resolution 2501 appointing Kate. as-
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the report so we can walk through all the other appointments. Linda, you'll be writing down as we're going. So we do have a number of boards, commissions, committees that the council sits on. Some may provide the opportunity for more than one to participate on the committee. So I'm just going to go through, basically name the committee, assuming that everybody's read the general description and dates of meeting and whatnot, and just be looking for council consent, and then I'll read it back through at the end, and then you guys just in one motion can say so moved. So the first item would be the scale representation. We do appoint scale, all of the council members as representatives to scale, so that allows you guys to feel comfortable going to everything. But there's also the executive committee element of that. Historically, it's the mayor or another designated by the council, but typically it's the mayor, and then I typically serve as the backup representative.
I'll continue that tradition if it's
Okay. The second item would be appointment to the Scott County Joint Prosecution Association. That is historically the city administrator, as it is for the other cities, with the chiefs of police as their backups. Would the council like to continue that? Okay. The next item is the city would be the representative to the regional training facility. The city administrator for us has typically served as the representative with the chief of police, again as the alternate. Does the council want to continue with that approach? Okay. I-35 Solutions Alliance. Historically, we've had one representative with the city administrator playing as backup or somebody else being backup. Technically, under the organizational documents for the organization, there's 2 directors and 1 alternate. I would recommend that the city administrator be the alternate, and the council can decide if they want to have 1 or 2 representatives to the organization.
I would like to do that one if possible.
You want to do it?
Yeah,
I can say no to meetings.
or we can
Okay.
both do it.
I can be
Okay.
backup or an alternate behind you if necessary, if either one of you can't
I
make
think
it,
you'd
so.
be the alternate in front of, no?
If you just want to be the other director,
Sure.
and then I'll be the alternate as necessary.
Maybe a question, and maybe it doesn't have to be discussed now, but do we have representation on the TAC committee, the technical advisory? I mean, and typically, maybe that's more of the engineer. I guess I don't know who technically from cities would go to that.
Typically, it's kind of a volunteer role. They invite who they think they are going to go. I have in the past had to muscle my way onto it since, we don't have a city, in-house city engineer. A lot of the big house city engineers up there know each other and they just kind of get together. So sometimes they need to be reminded that staff from other cities might participate. I think it would be good for us to have a representative on that, because that is a group that typically makes recommendations on priorities for projects, so there's a little bit of politicking that goes on in addition to just normal analysis. If there's an opportunity, I would see if either I or Renee can get appointed to that.
I mean, I think it'd be super beneficial, don't you, Commissioner, to have somebody, I mean, it's not me, I don't have the expertise in a lot of that stuff or whoever, but I think it'd be really good, because they're setting priorities, we're shrinking, I'll get to that in the report, but we should think about that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is Megan and Josh as directors, and both or one of you can attend as
We
available.
both could go, couldn't we?
Yep,
Oh.
yep, and then I would serve as the alternate, as the.
It's just, it's a nice meeting because it's 7:30 in the morning, it's on the way to work, it's super convenient, yeah.
The next one would be the Fire Relief Board. For the last several years, Kate has served as that representative. That person also typically serves as the representative to the Fire Service Area Work Group as well. It doesn't have to be, but typically because of the subject matter commonality, it's been the same person.
I'm okay staying on it unless somebody new wants to try it.
You're throwing me for a loop. I just assumed you enjoyed that one.
I
and
do
wanted to
love the
keep
one.
it.
It's a passion of mine, so. But if somebody else wants to do it, I'm game.
I'm not taking it from you.
For both of those, correct? Okay. Then we have the CCEC, the Community and Civic Events Committee. We have a council representative on there. For the last few years, it's been Amanda.
Happy to keep it. Happy to share it after a while. Josh is like, no.
I'll be back up if she can't make it, sort of like we did this last term. That's fine.
Okay, so we'll amend the appointment to have Amanda as the primary and Kate then as the alternate. Okay. Then we have the Minnesota Valley Transit Authority. We have an ex officio role on that one. I think it's fair to describe that a lot of what they're doing doesn't have immediate impact on us. It's a lot of it is being aware and having influence on their long-term planning efforts, as well as networking with communities who do and will have influence over how transit may impact us on the future.
Where was it held before?
I believe they're currently,
No, I mean, who? From us.
Gina?
it was Gina.
Gina was on it, yeah.
I'm happy to take that one if no one else wants it.
Was this one mostly virtual too? I can't remember.
They're back to meeting in person.
Yeah.
Yep. And I believe,
Isn't this the one that we decided that we'd look at the packets and see if it was necessary for somebody to actually attend?
Yep.
correct?
yep, the expectation from the rest of the council is you can attend as frequently as you want, but if you want to take the, I'll see what's on the agenda approach, that's perfectly fine.
Sounds like Megan wants to go to all of them, so.
Go ahead. I just figured since no one else is saying anything, I got it.
Then we have the Administrative Appeals Board. So this is the board that reviews appeals related to utility bills. Currently, it consists of the finance specialist, the city administrator, and one council person. Josh has been doing it for probably 5 years now.
I dig it. I mean, but if people want to do it, and we've got a good routine down, but again, others can learn.
Sounds like you just got nominated.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I'll keep doing it.
All you.
So based on that, Linda, do you want to read back all of the appointments? And the council can say so moved.
Okay. Councilmember Theophalt and Councilmember Berg as a representative to the I-35 Solutions Alliance. City Administrator will be the alternate. Renee and Tom would be the TAC that is newly created, that's added. Councilmember Timberman and City Administrator as representative to the Fire Relief Board. Councilmember Timberman as representative to the Fire Service Area Work Group. Councilmember Novak, representative to the Community and Civic Events Committee, and Councilmember Timberman as alternate. Councilmember Theophalt as the representative to the MVTA Board, and Councilmember Berg to serve as a City Council representative on the Administrative Appeals Board.
So we'd be asking the council to approve those appointments as well as the recommendations in items A through C.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we need to talk about newspapers and?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the second item is designation of the official newspaper. Staff is again recommending designation of the New Prague Times as the official paper. One of the key factors with that has been appears to be no real advantage with regards to subscription rate in the city. It really comes down to they actually cover us. They cover our council meetings and they cover events within the community, whereas the other options do not.
Motion to approve Resolution 2502.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution 2502 passes.
And then the last item is designation of the official depositories. We are again recommending New Market Bank and the League of Minnesota Cities Forum Fund as the official depositories for the city.
Motion to approve resolution 25-03.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pass. Okay, with that, move on to consent agenda. Counselors, any quick questions on the consent agenda items? Anyone?
Motion. Go ahead.
Motion to approve consent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kate made the motion? And you seconded?
Amanda made it.
Amanda made it, yeah, gotcha, okay.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
Next item is public hearings. There's a hearing for liquor license at Alberta's Mexican Restaurant. Is there a report from the staff?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We've had application from Alberta's Mexican Restaurant LLC for liquor licenses for that location. We have reviewed the application and staff has found that they meet all the requirements for issuance of the application and we would recommend approval.
Motion, oh, I have to open.
Is there a applicant present? Do you have anything you'd like to say to the council?
Not at this point. We're looking forward for that
Okay.
approval, but I don't have anything else other than we're happy to be at Elko New Market and happy to serve our food to our community.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I just would like to add a comment that in the memo, the property taxes have been brought forward on this property, and so it does meet all requirements. That is different from what the memo stated.
All right, with that, we'll open public hearing. It is 1818. Is there anybody that would like to address this item? Seeing none. Get a motion for approving?
Close it first.
Or close the public hearing and then get a motion for approval.
Motion to approve resolution 2506.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to let you guys
We're
off.
very happy you're here.
Thank you so much.
Now we'll go to general business. First item in general business is the Highland Eagle View Tamarack Land Development. Council. Open this for discussion.
I do have a presentation that I can
We
give.
do? Okay.
Yeah, is that just for the public's benefit if
Okay.
anybody's viewing online or, I know most of you have heard this a couple of times already. But I will go ahead and do a quick overview. The council is aware that back in approximately 2005, there were multiple development projects being proposed. Public improvements were needed to serve the proposed developments. They included the Eagle View Elementary School, proposed by New Prague School District, as well as development on what was known as the Wagner property, currently held by Victory Fields LLC. Through assessment agreements with various owners and developers, the city constructed a public improvement project and assessed the benefiting property owners. And streets and utilities were extended from Dakota Avenue to Texas. A particular joint special assessment agreement was reached between the school district and On-Site Marketing, who is the proposed developer of the Victory Fields property at that time. After the project was constructed, the final assessment amount for the Victory Fields property was $689,797. It was assessed at an interest rate of 5.42%. The assessments were levied as deferred assessments against the property, and the city expected lump sum payments to be paid to the city with each phase of the development. Due to the housing or the recession and market crash, the development was abandoned, and the assessments have remained unpaid since that time. The city did bond for that project in 2007. Based on the structure of the bond, the city could not afford to pay the debt service and did refinance that bond in 2012. The city did levy property taxes, increased our tax levy in years 2018 through 2024 to help cover the deficit. City staff has run some scenarios of the principal and accrued interest here is shown on this slide. Tamarack Land Development is now proposing development of this 50-acre property. They have indicated to staff and the council that the project is not financially feasible with the existing assessment balance. And a pro forma was submitted to the city on November 14th that outlined the basis for a proposed $200,000 contribution towards those assessments. And Tamarack Land Development and Victory Fields LLC are seeking a reduction in the deferred assessment amount to $200,000. On December 5th, associated with this request, the City Council did recommend approval of a concept plan that had been submitted by Tamarack. One of the contingencies of the council's approval was it was contingent upon the developer providing parkland within the development, which could accommodate at least a neighborhood park, a small neighborhood park with a playground, potentially picnic shelter, potentially sport court. The city worked with our city engineer's office to identify the amount of space needed, and for those types of improvements or park facilities, and we found that the minimum would be resulted in the loss of 3 lots within the development. Based on the developer's original pro forma, those 3 lots would have a value of approximately $270,000. You can see here the recommendation of the council, or the discussion was to locate something centrally within the development. Also outlining the benefits of having this property developed, benefits to the city, and these estimates are based on the development of 50 acres with 149 single-family residential lots with the average home value of $400,000. From the developer, we would collect in trunk area charges approximately $780,000. In building permit revenue to the city, we would collect approximately $769,000. And then annual ongoing property tax revenue upon full development would result in today's dollars approximately $298,000. Also noting that deferred assessments automatically expire after 30 years of being levied. The assessments were adopted in 2007. They could not be collected after 2037 if this property did not develop before that time. And then the life expectancy of the improvements that have been assessed to the property. The streets are, life expectancy is approximately 40 years with a mill and overlay somewhere around 20 years. Life expectancy of utilities is approximately 50 years, and the infrastructure adjacent to Victory Fields is now 18 years old. The City Council is being asked to provide feedback regarding the Tamarack Land Development contribution of $200,000 and direction regarding relief of the deferred assessments that relate to the property.
Council, do you have any questions? Is the developer present?
Good evening, members of the council, mayor. Back here for the third time, so I've talked to many of you guys over the last few sessions about this, so I'll stand for any questions you guys have. I do want to thank staff again for getting us in front of you guys. They've done a phenomenal job as well, getting us here in front, so.
You guys have any questions, though? No? No? Got off easy. Council discussion?
Well, since I missed the last two, I guess I want to figure out where, oh, sorry. Since I missed the last two, I want to know where everyone's sitting. What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Can we go back like 3 or 4 slides where it was developer fees and some other fees?
I sure can.
I think that's relevant.
As she's doing that, I guess I can just say too, you know, I fully appreciate the developer and the family working with us on this. As I've said, you know, I think, well, maybe I'll stop for a second. Renee, Tom, you know, are there any other, or it's a hypothetical, so answer it if you want. But would these public improvements have been done without this development? If it was just, let's hypothetically just say it was the school that was being proposed out there at the time in 2005, would we have likely done this anyway?
I'm actually gonna kick that to Rich as to what would have been necessary at the time, but 255th well,
It's a vital link to Texas Avenue for the school, so that they don't have just one way in and out. So I think we'd have figured out something. Might not have looked exactly like that, but I think that link would have been critical, and so something would have happened, or the school wouldn't have.
I think it's difficult to ask that in isolation because it was one overall planned project, so it worked because all the pieces were getting built as part of all of this specific development that was occurring along the way from Dakota Acres all the way out to what was going to be Eagleview Estates at the time. But, so does that help?
It's reasonable to think that it probably, some sort of public improvements would have been needed in order for the school to be there, and it likely would have moved forward, it could have moved forward with whatever. I guess maybe a follow-up then would be, are there any other properties along that project area that are going to be assessed, any special assessments as they develop now moving forward?
No. At the time that we did this, there was an agreement that if there were other properties that developed within a reasonable time frame, at that time it was 5 years, we would try and collect from them and then possibly offset, because there was infrastructure that was paid primarily by the school district that serviced other properties. And I think we would be talking the 2 different Fregis properties, different Fregis families along the route that have infrastructure built adjacent to their property that was picked up either by the school district or the residential development out there.
So again, fair to say that had this development not even been talked about, and if it did move forward with just the school or whatever out there, they wouldn't be held accountable to pay for these special assessment fees at this point in time anyway, if they were just coming in now as a new applicant. So it just continues to reinforce, you know, my perspective that, you know, 200,000, it's better than nothing. Plus, we're gonna get 1.5 million right off the get-go, first year, and then, you know, as things ramps, obviously up to 298 or 300,000 annually thereafter. So, I mean, I think that's in the best interest of the community to just, we need to move forward and approve it, so.
You sounded like an attorney, like
Thanks. I think.
Testify.
I don't know, maybe that's not a good
Tom
thing.
is testifying. I would say the first meeting we had with Joe here, he was like 500, no less. We came back the second meeting, 400, no less. Gina was on board with that. I know they're not here, but I'm just like, this is how I'm getting to my logic. I am of the opinion that 200 is not enough, but I think I fall somewhere like 350. I think that, you know, when full build out, it will be great, and then we'll be getting a lot of fees and funds and that sort of thing, but that's gonna take a while. So I think that we should be collecting something.
Who are you? We haven't heard from.
I am along the same wavelengths as Josh. 200,000 is great. They're also doing the park dedication, which is $270,000 that they are. Obviously, it's not out of their pocket, but it is out of their pocket because it's not any land that they are going to be able to sell and use. So they are out that money, which is a benefit for us to be able to have that park there. Close to 1.5 in fees coming in, and property taxes of 300,000, I think is great. The fact that other landowners along the road have not been assessed and are not required to make any payments, I feel that we just take the 200, move it forward, and get the development going.
Well, I think I agree with Amanda, but I would also hate to move forward and counter at 3 or whatever, and then we miss out on something over $100,000 difference. So I would probably fall in line with Kate and Josh.
I think the optics look bad on it, but with that 1.4, 1.5 that we get right away, I think that speaks to getting something done. So as I was watching this progress over the last few months, and I was really on the fence about which way to go with it because of the optics. And I think this development will lead to others. So myself, I'm at that 200 as well at this point. So it looks like 1.4 or so coming up with an annual 300,000 in property tax. They're gonna give 200, they're gonna put 270 up for a park. I think it's reasonable at this point. What would be, since we're not taking a vote on any of this, so it's just discussion. So I think we're pretty much all, for the most part, the difference of 100,000, I think we're all on board, for the most part. What would be the next steps?
So I think the next steps is that the Tamarack and the family will decide whether to move forward with development based on what they're hearing from you tonight. And if we get an application, we can handle this at the direction of our city attorney, either incorporating the language regarding the assessment into the development contract or potentially a pre-development contract before development. So I think those are the two options, and I've discussed those with Andrea at other times and discussed with Amy prior to the meeting.
Question, Reed. I've had council members outside of the meeting ask staff if they knew, because there's been a lot of discussion about the property taxes generated by the project at full build-out. There has been, I've gotten multiple questions about what is the developer expecting to be the build-out time on a, knowing that it's subject to market and everything, but what do you work in your perform for expectations for build-out on a project like this?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And I appreciate you guys' feedback. And our building partner, we don't build, we develop, but our building partner that is with us will be able to come forward here during preliminary plat and show some examples of house plans and talk prices and all of that. The good thing is I can say that our partner is a national developer or a national builder. The good thing, and I think I've mentioned this in some of the meetings we've had before, is the benefit of a national builder is they are a production builder. They make money on production and being able to turn homes and sell homes and build at a commodity with contractors and stuff on site. It's fair to assume that most nationals, local nationals, whether it's Lennar, Pulte, MI, Hortons, all of those build generally, they build about 40 homes per neighborhood per year. So that's kind of their market. Obviously, some communities do much better than that. Some are a little slower. With this one, being that nationals are newer to Elko New Market, it probably will take a little bit of that inventory to start and getting some of those homeowners to get in there. But we're confident that that once we get some neighbors down here, things will really pick up fast. Get it into a price point that's attractive to a lot of homeowners that are either looking to get into a new home, maybe upsize, or relocate families and stuff into a great community like this. I think the park is wonderful. It'll attract some people. School being right across the street, it's a wonderful site, and we're excited to move forward here with it. So, Tom, does that answer your question? Roundabout way, it's fair to assume 40 per neighborhood.
So basically, you're thinking 4 years to complete?
36 to 48.
Yeah, somewhere in that range, yeah. This development initially just be looking at probably like a two-phase type development, kind of building it in kind of two chunks at this point. Now, things could change based on how the utilities and street connections and lift stations and everything else that need to go in there, but generally speaking, that's what we've forecasted at this point, so. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wagner family, for bearing with us.
Well, there's nothing, just move on to reports.
Yep, staff feels they have pretty clear direction, and Reed, you feel you have clear feedback? Yep. Okay.
All right, administration.
I have nothing specific to report.
Public Works,
I have nothing to add, but I'm here if anybody has any questions.
any questions? Seeing none. Police, great. Chief?
It's a bit of a challenging year with adding new people, new sergeant, new chief, CGIS audit, but we're doing good and proud of all my people. They stepped up and look forward to 2025. I think it's a lot of opportunity. That's it.
Rich? Engineering?
Luke is here as well as me. You have a report from Luke in your packets, I believe. If you have any questions on that or anything else, feel free. Otherwise, I have nothing further.
Community Development? All right, Parks.
Jake did not forward anything that he, beyond what was written in the packet.
CCEC?
Did not meet in December. We'll kick off January and get some dates out for our events, and that's all I got.
Scale? Or did you attend?
So executive committee, because the mayor hadn't attended, I was unable to make the meeting as well because of commitments here at City Hall. Probably the biggest notable item out of that is that the executive committee allocated funding to continue the insurance consortium research project. We're moving more into the nuts and bolt. The governance is the next big element associated with that, and there'll be a working group with representation from both of the cities. For us, it'll be me and Kelly. That will be representing Elko New Market and similar type positions from other cities. That work will probably take a few months. And then if the governance issue is fine and all of the partners are on board with that, then we'd move into what is fondly referred to as the nuts and bolts stage of what it would actually look like in practice from policy structure, that type of standpoint. That will require an additional allocation of probably equal to what it took to get through the governance phase. The current timeline is that by end of summer, we would be in a position where we would be at the go, no-go. Probably earlier than that. We'd have to make the go, no-go decision to have everything in place then to be able to go for Jan 1 of 2027 is the working date right now.
Service delivery.
Service delivery meeting is actually canceled for this month, so I have nothing to report.
I-35.
The meeting was this morning. I know Tom had forwarded the documents or whatever. One notable, or the notable part of the discussion this morning was the TAC committee came back with recommendations. We had asked them to go back and look at the priority list and then the supported priority list. The supported list had like 30 different projects that weren't necessarily along 35. So the recommendation that they came back with that many of us agreed with is I-35 Solutions is for I-35 projects. So all of the 169 stuff, the Cedar stuff, the crosstown that doesn't touch or cross over 35 shouldn't be part of our focus and our priority of this group, which is fantastic for projects like ours because we never could make it to the list. And so, I mean, we're going to delete 5 out of the top 7 priorities that were on our legislative agenda or priority list, which leaves like 2 or 3. Ours will get up then because there aren't as many on actual 35. So, and we have tremendous support. So kudos to everybody that's been a part of this group and working over the last few years, Commissioner Wolf, but like Commissioner Workman, who's the chair from Dakota County, Commissioner, she sits to my right. Okay, dang it, it's the other one from Dakota County. She's been a champion of County Road 2, the interchange. Lisa, yes, Mary Liz. And then Lisa from the county also has been advocating. She was part of the TAC committee, but I think it would be really beneficial for us to have somebody at those TAC committees. So Mark Ray from Burnsville is leading that. So that'd be who we'd want to reach out to get invited to those meetings. But they're going to be coming back for the February meeting with a revised priority list. Ours should be on that list based on what everybody was saying. And then they also acknowledge because Representative Kosnick is chairing the transportation or co-chairing the transportation committee that it makes sense to for the County Road 50 and ours to be a part of these discussions for these next couple of years. So seemed like a lot of good progress and yeah.
All right, then that concludes reports. Any discussions by council?
I just have a question. Is there any update on, and maybe it was in the packet, any update on the old PD work that's been happening or?
No, we are in homework mode. The work group led by Brandon had gone through and identified at a high level the various options for that property. And he's currently going through and fleshing those out a little bit for further discussions. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for February.
And do we have a council member? Was Gina on that?
Gina was the representative, so if the council wants to continue to have a representative, and I would strongly recommend it, I guess I would ask a council member to sit in on that. We have time if council's not ready to identify somebody tonight, but if you could, I think it would be beneficial.
I would be happy to sit on that.
Okay, I'll let Brandon know.
Anything else? No? Then we'll move to an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Josh made the motion, Kate seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.